everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden. Welcome to Fire Your MD Now. Check out the World Wide Web. Why don't ya? FireYourMDNow.com. There's a good catchphrase. Fire your MD now, and stay tuned. Getting very, very close. I can smell it. The new website is being rolled out shortly, and we're going to have links on the website for all kinds of cool stuff, including Fire Your MD Now t-shirts and bumper stickers, and we're going to have a contest. I'm going to fill you in on that as soon as the website is up and running. We're going to have people wearing the Fire Your MD Now t-shirts in hospitals and medical facilities all across the country. We're going to post them on the website, and we're going to give a great big prize to whomever goes out on the limb far enough. Now, you know, every once in a while, life throws you a bone. Every once in a while, you wake up, and life is beautiful. There's a pot of gold at the foot of the bed. Every once in a while, you wake up and something really unexpectedly awesome happens. Ladies and gentlemen, the Twinkie is finally going away. Hallelujah, and pass the hat. That's right, Hostess is filing for bankruptcy. And guess what's going to be the first victim? The Twinkies, baby. They're going away. Good riddance for bad rubbish, right? No more Twinkie and no more Wonder Bread. How about that? Now, you know, you go online and you do a Google search for Twinkie, and everybody's horrified by the artificial preservatives in it. It's nonsense. There's no problem with the artificial preservatives in Twinkies. You hear a lot of nonsense about how bad for you preservatives are. Well, I've got news for you. When you compare nutrient deficiencies to the net negative effects compared by generated by preservatives, I mean, that's like comparing a mosquito to a bullet that's been fired from a gun traveling at 3,000 feet per second. It's much more dangerous than a mosquito is, no kidding. You know, but we're just out of touch with everything, and we hear the word artificial preservative and we get our, you know, undies in a bunch. It's nonsense. The real problem with Twinkies is the flour. It's the wheat flour that's in it. And, you know, there's a lot of sugar in it, 16 grams, I think, of sugar in one Twinkie, plus the trans fats that are in the cream, or whatever that stuff is in the middle. Actually, you can get some calcium from that stuff that's in the middle, but that's about it. The biggest problem with the Twinkie is the sugar, the wheat flour that's in it, and the trans fats that are in the cream. It's got nothing to do with the preservatives, or, you know, none of the other chemicals that are in it. Everybody's like chemical phobic when you should be nutritionally deficient phobic. It's much more of a problem to have not enough nutrients in your body than it is to have preservatives or chemicals in there, because your body can handle that. By the way, that's what Dr. Wallach's research proved. There was an environmental disaster in Japan in the 70s, or was it the 60s? I think it was the late 60s, called Minamata. There was an industrial plant that dumped, you know, hundreds of gallons of mercury into Minamata River. That's not good. Mercury, toxic in large doses, flowed downstream, emptied into Minamata Bay. The algae sucked the mercury up. The fish ate the algae. The villagers ate the fish. Everybody got sick. A lot of people died, and all the kids that were born thereafter were like Frankenstein. 3 eyes, 1 eye, 3 arms, 5 legs, half a brain. It was bad, baby. And it was a potential human extinction event, right? Because, you know, you can't reproduce. All the kids, that's a human extinction event. You can't reproduce anymore. Oh, my God, this is the last generation, and then we're out of here. Sayonara. So it sent a shockwave through the scientific community. They figured out that it was mercury that did it. That was kind of a no-brainer. But the scientific community thought to themselves, holy smokes, if mercury can do this, well, what about pesticides and hydrofluorochlorocarbons and lions and tigers? What about everything else? What about all these pesticides? What about all these additives? What about all these preservatives? What about the crap in the air, the crap in the food, the crap in the water? That's got to be bad for us, right? So guess what they did? They tapped Dr. Joel Wallach to figure out the net negative effects that pollution had on the health of living biological systems, i.e. animals and humans. They did $25 million of research, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, all of it designed to discover the net negative effects that things like pesticides and preservatives and environmental crap had on the health of living, breathing animals and human beings. And guess what they discovered? And it didn't matter. Normal doses of environmental crap that we're exposed to on a daily basis the human body can handle. How about that? The research was almost canceled. Because they were coming up dry. No problems here, kids. The body can handle it. The only time that those things were problematic was when there was a large exposure, like Minamata, like Chernobyl, and now like Japan, Fukushima. That's going to be bad, man. You mark my words, in the next 5 years, there's going to be all kinds of cancers coming from that. Because it was a big dose. Big dose. Big dose, right? But interestingly enough, the normal stuff that we're exposed to in our day-to-day lives, the body can handle. However, as they were looking for the net negative effects from environmental pollution and coming up dry, they stumbled upon massive pain and suffering caused by simple nutrient deficiencies, actually complex nutrient deficiencies. There are 278 diseases caused by not enough calcium. Now look, on a relative scale of things, I'd rather be drinking aspartame every day than being calcium deficient. Because if you're calcium deficient, you're going to get 278 diseases. If you do aspartame, or the sweetener, artificial sweetener in the foods, what's going to happen? Nobody knows. It's theoretical. Maybe you get sick, maybe you won't. Oh, it's going to cause Gulf War syndrome. Well, maybe. That hasn't been conclusively proved, but it has been conclusively proved that there are 278 diseases caused by not enough calcium. There are 90 essential nutrients. Calcium's one. There's 89 others. And if you don't get them, something's going to break. And this is the problem that we have here in medicine in the United States and in all industrialized nations all around the world. The people that you trust for your health care have no training, no experience, no respect, and no appreciation for medical nutrition. They don't give a damn about it. They don't know anything about it. Zero. You want to have some fun with your MD? Ask him to name the B vitamins. So watch his head explode. Ask him to tell you the breakdown of the 90 essential nutrients. Ask him even just to tell you what the difference is between an essential nutrient and a nutrient. Get him to define the word vitamin. See if he can do that. You're paying him $1,500 an hour. You might as well get some info out of him. You might as well have some fun with them. Watch their heads spin off of their shoulders and then explode because they don't know squat about it. They don't know diddly bumpkiss about it. Nada, niet, nothing. And because most chronic diseases are rooted in chronic nutrient deficiencies, therefore, ipso facto, your MD is completely incapable of helping you to recover from a chronic disease. And so it is in the United States. How many people do you know that have been cured from type 2 diabetes? Zero with MD treatments. How many people do you know that the MDs have cured from arthritis? Zero. How many people do you know have been cured of their high blood pressure? Zero. How many people do you know have been cured of their depression? Zero. MDs can't even cure heartburn. They can manage all these things with drugs. You stop taking the drug, you're right back to square one. Actually, you're worse off than you were before you started taking it, which is why they need to increase the dosage of the drug every 2, 3, 4 years, or switch it out to something else because it stops working. Because irony of ironies, the people that you go to for your health care are not trained in health care. They're trained in disease management. There's a gigantic difference between health care, caring for somebody's health, preventing illness, curing illness, and managing diseases with drugs and surgery. And that's all that the MDs do. Now, we got to throw a dog a bone. So the surgeons in the emergency room and the military field guys, tending to people who've just had bullet wounds and their legs blown off, heaven forbid. The trauma surgeons in the ER, these people actually do good work. They're the people we should be applauding. They're the people we should be patting on the back because that's their domain. That's the domain of the MD. Trauma and surgery when it's necessary. For everything else, they stink. Not only do they stink, but they're the leading cause of death in the United States. You kidding me? The leading cause of death. And we don't do anything. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers. We go to war. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers. We go to war. 780,000 people a year are killed by MDs. We don't do nothing. Well, we do something. We continue to give them our money. We continue to give them our respect. We continue to give them our appreciation. And we continue to do whatever the heck they tell us to do. Oh, yeah, you need that chemotherapy. We're going to just set you right up with chemotherapy. No conversation about it. They tell you what to do. They don't have a conversation with you. Or if they're the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, they have a heart-to-heart conversation with you. And then they tell you that you really do need the chemotherapy. But they never answer the hard questions. How do I know this? Because I've sat in the room with people at Cancer Treatment Centers of America listening to them tell the patient nonsense. I've been there in person, seen it up close and personal. It's nonsense. These pedants smell unduly of the lamp, and they are cloaked in blood, pain, and suffering. As Napoleon Bonaparte said, doctors will have more lives to answer for in the afterlife than even we generals. And so it is, ladies and gentlemen. Irony of ironies, your medical doctor is the worst person to bring your body to if you're suffering with a chronic health condition, which leads to one of life's easiest conclusions. In order for you to secure your health, what do you have to do? Fire your MD now. And I mean now. And give me a call. Get on board with Longevity and let me drag you happily into the light of medical nutrition. And it looks as if Brett is calling from Santa Barbara. Brett, thanks for calling. It's your time on the Dr. Glidden Show. Thanks so much. Oh, Brett's history. That's okay. We're going to try. All right, we're going to try to get Brett back here. 866-582-9933, folks. The lines are open. So give us a call, and we will chat about whatever it is you would like to talk to, as long as it's only about health. So, you know, like the fella said, you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot of misconceptions in the world, and that's what Dr. Wallach and I do. That's what every Longevity representative does. We bust myths. And there are most of the myths that populate in our popular culture have to do with the wonders of pharmaceutical medicine and the wonders of MD-directed medicine and the remarkable advances that have been made with medicine, and it's all nonsense. And the relationship, of course, between things like heart disease and cholesterol and this, that, and the other thing. And it's nonsense. So we bust myths all of the time. And however, it's not just MD-generated myths that we bust. There's a lot of holistic myths that exist in the world, like this conception that, artificial sweeteners are going to kill you and it's the worst thing to ever happen, and that too much lead or arsenic or aluminum, that's the word I'm looking for. Too much lead is, in fact, a problem. It's hard to get too much lead, by the way. Your body needs lead to make DNA. Did you know that? Your body needs lead to make DNA. Let me say that one more time. Your body needs lead to make DNA. Too much is not good for you. Your body needs aluminum. How about that? Aluminum is unrelated to Alzheimer's disease. And I'll get more into that in the next segment. It looks like we got Brett back. Brett, if you're there, welcome aboard. You are live. Hello, Brett. Brett, come on in, buddy. Hello, Santa Barbara. Well, I guess Brett's having technical difficulties. Mercury is in retrograde after all. Looks like Tricia is calling from Chicago with a question about endometriosis. Welcome aboard, Tricia.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call. I'm 33 years old. My husband and I, we've been trying to conceive for 11 months, no luck. been having really bad severe pain on and off for the last 2 years. Doctor finally found a cyst on my ovary that's about the size of a kiwi.
Yeah.
And I have severe endometriosis. So, doctor.
How long have you had endometriosis?
Well, I was just diagnosed about a month ago.
Okay, so you've never had this problem before?
No,
so
never had this before.
Endometriosis usually comes along with a lot of symptoms. So have you been experiencing any new symptoms around your menstrual cycle?
Well, I've been having pelvic pain literally for the last 2 years.
You have?
Yes, and they couldn't really figure out what it was. I've had cysts before, surgically removed back when I was like 21, but they weren't endometriosis.
All right. So endometriosis is the presence in the abdominal cavity of cells from the uterus. Mm-hmm. And, that's not the cells from the uterus shouldn't be there. It's like you've got living cells now that your body. So when a woman has her menstrual cycle, the inside lining of the uterus is sloughed off and it's ejected from the uterus in the menstrual flow. All right? That's what happens. Now, if you plug up the menstrual flow with a tampon, if your anatomy is just a perfect way, just a certain way, then the blood flow can actually back up into the fallopian tubes. And when you get menstrual debris in the fallopian tubes, it can leak out into the abdominal cavity. And ironically, one of the leading causes of endometriosis is the use of tampons. All right, so don't use tampons anymore. We're coming up against a hard break here. I'm going to tell you what to do to get on the other side of it, because my colleague, as God is my witness, Dr. Wallach, has gotten more women pregnant than any other man in the United States. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopathic doctor, answering your questions about health, encouraging you to take your health back through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. And we are talking to Tricia from Chicago, my stomping grounds. She's got a question about endometriosis and ovarian cysts. Tricia, welcome back. Are you with me?
Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Okay, good. So ovarian cysts are caused by not enough progesterone. The fact that your MD did not know this is telling and is par for the course. I mean, it really solidifies my position that MDs don't know anything about the genesis of the disease, nor do they care about it. All they're interested in is the surgical solution and or the drug management. They don't give a damn about what causes it. Ovarian cysts are caused by a lack of progesterone. Now, what on earth could cause a lack of progesterone? Well, guess what progesterone is made from? Cholesterol. So if you're on a fat-free diet and exercising, you're not going to have enough cholesterol in your body. Your body's not going to be able to make progesterone, and you're going to get ovarian cysts. It's a simple cholesterol deficiency. And I bet you that's the first time in your life you've heard those two words used together in the same sentence. Cholesterol deficiency, right? It's a cholesterol deficiency, right? So the fix for this, Tricia, is eggs. Eggs and more eggs, especially the yolk of the egg. You need to be pounding down the eggs, baby. You need to be eating food that's high in cholesterol. The higher your cholesterol, the better your hormones will be, and then life is good. And don't use tampons anymore. Mm-hmm. Just use pads, because tampons, if your anatomy is just right, and it appears that it is in fact just right with you, the tampon can cause the backup of the menstrual blood into the fallopian tube, and then it leaks out into the abdominal cavity, and now you've got live uterine cells in the abdominal cavity, and that ain't good. Now, because everything's connected, sometimes if the endometrial tissue, and by the way, when you get these live cells in the abdominal cavity, ladies and gentlemen, it's called endometriosis. Now, sometimes, because everything's connected, when you provide the body with a good, solid, science-based nutritional program, the endometrial symptoms take a back seat, they fade into the distance, and life is good, and sometimes they don't. So we're just going to have to see what happens here with the endometriosis symptoms. We might get lucky. If we don't get lucky, then regretfully the only option that you have that I'm aware of There might be an acupuncture option here, but I don't think so. The only option that I'm aware of to really take care of bad and persistent endometriosis is surgery, because they have to go in there and vacuum up the endometrial, the tissue that's found its way, that's snuck into your abdominal cavity. They just have to get rid of it. Now, this is where MD treatments actually do good, because when surgery is indicated, the stuff they can do with surgery is really great. But you don't have a problem getting pregnant because you have endometriosis, and you don't have a problem getting pregnant. Well, it's possible that the hormone stuff is one of the reasons why you can't get pregnant, right? Because that's intimately related with reproduction. So what do? Well, here's what we do. We lean on the wisdom of the body, because there's another possibility here. It's not a stretch to assume that if your body doesn't have the stuff necessary to make cholesterol, or doesn't have the stuff necessary to make progesterone, then it probably doesn't have stuff necessary to make a lot of other things as well. And because your body has wisdom, your body knows this. So a body that is running on nutrient fumes, nature doesn't want that person's body to get pregnant, because you don't have enough nutrients to sustain a healthy pregnancy. And if by some stroke of luck you are in fact able to get pregnant, odds are that the child will be born with a birth defect, or there'll be a spontaneous abortion, because in order for the fetus to develop with health, your body needs a boatload of nutrients, and prenatal vitamins just ain't going to cut it. So what do? Well, we come over the hill, we come to the rescue, and it's easy. Because we provide your body with all of the nutrients that it needs in absorbable recipes, extremely sophisticated absorbable nutritional recipes appropriate for your body weight. We clean up your diet, advise you to eat a little more cholesterol. Let that persist for 2-3 months, and then you try to get pregnant. And then when you're attempting to get pregnant with a body that's 100% nutrified, it's a million times easier than attempting to get pregnant with a body that's not nutrified, and it's really just that simple. Does that make sense, Tricia?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good. So, and this is also one of the reasons why there's so much autism now. It's crazy. It's like 1 out of 50 now. 1 out of 56 kids are born autistic. That's just unacceptable. It used to be 1 out of 20,000. Now it's 1 out of 88, 1 out of 56. Why is this? Well, it's because a lot of women who are trying to get pregnant now are in your shoes. And they're completely undernutrified, and they don't know it. They're eating all the wrong foods all the time. They don't know it. Their body's struggling to get pregnant, and if they do get pregnant, the child is developing in an undernutrified womb, and that causes lots of problems. So, how much do you weigh, Tricia?
I'm actually overweight. I weigh 170.
Okay, so being overweight is a drop-dead diagnostic clue that your body is undernutrified. And that might be counterintuitive, but if when your body has all the nutrients that it needs, well, when your body is running on nutrient fumes, it knows that it's running on nutrient fumes, and it knows that you're not going to be able to get pregnant. It knows that your ovaries are going to be in trouble. It knows that your heart's going to be in trouble. Your joints are going to be in trouble. It knows it. So what does your body do? Your body forces you to eat in the desperate attempt to fill its nutritional tank up. But the food that you're eating doesn't have the vitamins and the minerals that your body needs. So you eat and you eat and you eat and you eat, and you're still undernutrified, and so you gain weight. Because the only thing that makes people gain weight is they eat too many calories. And the only thing that makes people eat too many calories is their bodies are starving for nutrients. By the way, this is the secret to weight loss that not even Oprah knows. Right? Weight gain is a deficiency disease. It is not a disease of excess. So good news. Once you fill your body's nutrient tank up and you stop eating food that's gumming up the works, you lose weight, your body increases its strength, increases its energy, increases its hormone production, you get pregnant, and then, I think Dr. Glidden is a pretty cool name for little kids, so consider that. All right, so here we go. My recommendation for you, Tricia, to support and promote the health of your body in an attempt to become pregnant would be, per month, 2 healthy start packs per month, 2 healthy start packs, and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 2 healthy start packs and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and a diet that's extremely high in cholesterol and good fat. So chicken, eggs, especially the yolk, full-fat milk, full-fat dairy, full-fat yogurt, chicken with the skin, rare meat, right, butter, salt. Got to eat these foods. And please visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com. And right there on the front page, there's a little button to opt in to my free email newsletter. So fill your name out, give me your email address, and click the submit button. And when you do that, and you get a free newsletter from me every month, number one. But number two, you get, my system sends you a list of 10 foods that you shouldn't eat.
Okay.
So you need to eliminate those foods from your diet and take these nutritional supplements for 90 days and then try to get pregnant, and call me back and tell me what happens, because I love to hear stories like this. Now, to get a handle on these supplements at the wholesale price, here's the number to call, 855-347-3696. 855-347-3696. Thanks so much for calling, Tricia. You're the greatest. Yeah, and best of luck, okay? And no more tampons, for goodness sake. Patrick from Kentucky is up next. Patrick, welcome aboard. It's your time. Live. What's going on, Kentucky?
Yeah, Dr. Glidden, thanks for taking my call. My wife is 8 months pregnant, and she's been diagnosed with histoplasmosis.
Yeah.
And I was just wanting to know if you had any idea what we could do.
Well, what are the MDs telling you they want you to do?
Well, they are saying that they want to give us Avantis as one option, which is a shot, and then there's one other drug that they also want to try, and of course I'm strongly opposed to it, and they are saying that it could be harmful to the baby.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it a presumptive? Do they presume it's histoplasmosis, or they know for sure it's histoplasmosis?
Well, they had the ophthalmologist look at it, and they had the specialist look at it, and they both diagnosed it as the same thing.
Are you guys cave explorers?
No, we're not.
That's
we're
interesting,
not exactly
right?
sure.
Wait, now not exactly sure where it came from, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so is she experiencing any net negative symptoms from it?
Yeah, that's exactly why we took her to the doctor, and she had her eyes checked, and they gave her some glasses, and then they said, you've got 20/20 vision. But she can't see out of her right eye because there's like a black spot in the middle of her eye. And so the doctor said that she is bleeding behind her eye.
Uh-huh. And they think it's the histoplasmosis that's causing that?
Yes, sir.
I don't know why they would think it's the histoplasmosis that's causing that. I mean, that seems like kind of a stretch to me. All right, does she have any other symptoms besides bleeding from the eye?
No, not at all. She just can't see, and she's giving me a lot of pressure. I'm telling her, please just, let's just figure out how we can do this without getting shot,
Okay, all right. So here's what I would do if I were, or if, my wife were given the diagnosis of histoplasmosis while they were pregnant. Here's what I would do. What's her body weight? Do you know?
She's somewhere around the range of 150, 160, somewhere like that. Okay,
so I would do per month 1.5 healthy start packs, 1 1/2 healthy start packs. So you buy 2 in November, 1 in December.
Okay.
Yeah, I would give her 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium.
Okay.
And I would give her as much chocolate, triple treat chocolate, as you can afford, up to 60 pieces of chocolate a month. That's 3 pieces of chocolate a day. That's an expensive product. If you can't afford 60 a month, get 20 a month. If you can't afford 20 a month, get 40 a month. But the Triple Treat chocolate is loaded with antioxidants. And one of the main avenues of helping the immune system to get rid of things like histoplasmosis is by increasing the body's own antioxidant ability, because that's one of the things the body uses to kill bugs. And it's non-harmful. It's better than taking toxic antibiotics into your body that can potentially harm the infant, right? So give her 2 healthy start packs, the selenium, and the Triple Treat chocolate. And plus, please have her stop eating the 10 bad foods. And you can get that list from opting into my free email newsletter on the front page of my website. I would try that for 6 weeks. We're talking to Patrick. His wife is pregnant. She's got histoplasmosis. So, Patrick, the 2 things that we do here is we encourage people to stop eating food that's gumming up the works, and you can get that list. There's 10 foods that everybody should stop eating. Your wife, you, me, everybody. You can get that list by going to fireyourmdnow.com and opting in for my free newsletter. It's right there on the front page of the website. As soon as you do that, click that submit button, opt into my website, to my newsletter. The system will send you a free list of the good food, bad food. And if it's on the bad food list, I don't want her to even look at it. I don't want you to look at it. I don't want any of you to eat it. And give her those nutritional supplements for 6 weeks. And usually inside of 6 weeks, in a situation like this, there's something improves, something turns around. Because, you know, sometimes the body can fight an infection and sometimes it can't. And we increase the body's chances of getting on the other side of an infection by supporting and promoting the health of the entire body, because, you know, everything's connected. So oftentimes, by providing the body with the essential nutrients that it needs in therapeutic doses, the immune system bumps up a notch and it starts killing things like histoplasmosis. So that's what I would do for the first 6 weeks. Give that a try and see what happens, and call me back with a report. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck. I appreciate you. I appreciate your trust, and I appreciate your call. Looks like Brett finally made it back. Brett, are you back?
I think I'm back, Dr. Glidden.
All right. Brett, 3rd time's the charm, baby. What's going on?
Well, let's see. I spoke with you in April. You were filling in for Dr. Wallach, and I called about my brother-in-law who had gone through a T-cell lymphoma bone marrow transplant.
Ouch.
And I thought we were out of the woods of the lymphoma, and you informed me that it doesn't go away. That's the lie, and guess what? It's back.
Yeah.
So I was only able to, you had given me a great therapy of liquid plant minerals, glucose gels, Healthy Start Pack with Cell Shield RTQ, and Fucoid Z. I was only able to get him the Healthy Start Pack with the Cell Shield.
Yeah.
But the response was tremendous. He looked like a snake about to shed his skin. He's a Bohemian, very dark black man. And his face was white and scaly. And that turned around. His blood turned around. And, of course, they figured it was what they were doing. Yeah. And after about 2 months, maybe doing 3/4 of a dose of what we should have had him at on the Healthy Start Pack, he had a little indigestion, brought that up to my sister and the doctor, and guess what comes next?
Yeah,
there's all these things that the nutrients are interfering with.
Yeah,
so they got everything. We went right back to all the got a list here of the.
Well, they're going to kill him. I mean, this is.
Yeah, they went back to immunosuppressive drugs. Now they're saying.
Yeah,
they're playing this game of, well, his body's fighting itself, and maybe if we lower these drugs, the graft immune system, he's got 2 immune systems now, apparently, the old one and the new one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't agree with any of that. My sister's on board now. We've got a window before they're going to do a slow outpatient chemo. We'd like not to go there. So I've been green-lighted. I've got everything on the way. The main problem right now is a lump that showed up on his buttocks. It's got lymphoma. It's from the pelvic region. Her fear is that I'm going to contradict with something they're giving him, which my feeling is just the exact opposite. They're suppressing his immune system right now, and they need to stop doing that.
Well, you're never going to be able to convince these people, number one. Number two, it's illegal to treat cancer unless you're an MD. So
I understand.
We're getting into real gray area here, and so we can't put ourselves out in the community as people who are delivering alternative cancer treatments. We're not. What we're doing is providing therapeutics to support and promote the health of his body. And, ultimately this guy has to choose what he wants to do, because you can't really do both at the same time. If it were me and I had this diagnosis, I would do 10 bottles of Z-Radical a month and 4 bottles of selenium a month and 2 healthy start packs a month, plus complete elimination of all of the 10 bad foods. That program will go a long way towards supporting and promoting the health of anybody's body, and who knows, he might get lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next week.